Hey there, my name is Pravus, welcome back to more Kingdoms Reborn, playing as the new Shogunate faction in a city I've renamed New Jokyo, because it makes me a little bit happy. Anyway, we are playing on an immortal difficulty, which means we have a 320% consumption rate increased against us, not as bad as deity, but still pretty darn rough, which is why by the year 7, we're still only barely getting our feet underneath us. The good news is, rice has been carrying us to life so far. Rice is life. So, we're getting into the medieval era. Actually, we just finished doing that, which means we're about to get access to a few new techs, which will be helpful. I'm going to go ahead and start by getting things like the rice paddy up and running, though, so we can place down more of these. And then we want to start working toward the agricultural revolution and get ourselves the granary for the extra productivity for all surrounding food producers. Also, farms will get better if they have nearby farms. So if we can rush down mushroom log sterilization and then pick this up, our food production goes up substantially. This is one of the most important inflections in the game. I did place down the employment bureau over here so I can prioritize jobs. Obviously, food becomes very important and we want to get plenty of stone tools and so on. However, you're going to notice I put things like the fruit gatherer and the hunting lodge down toward the bottom of priorities, which is going to be weird to you. And that's because I took a look at the statistics and I learned a few things I was not really expecting. So pork, for example, is actually doing a lot better than I gave it credit for. 425 food across 2 workers, that's over 200 food per worker. That's actually still pretty darn efficient. You contrast that with the oranges, though, where I'm getting less food, 224, for more workers, 4. That's 56 food per person. Oranges and fruit gathering is nothing compared to pork, is what we're learning out of that. Then you look at the thing like rice, though. We currently have about 14 workers on rice, which I don't think this fully reflects that quite yet, so maybe next year this goes up. But about 1,700 food over 14 workers, that's about 120 food per worker. Not as good as pork. Still really pretty good, though, and I'm thinking that the granary is going to make this a lot better once we get that agricultural revolution, so it gives you an idea of what you want to really prioritize. Farming, pork, 2 winners, oranges, and game meat. Not really. Although, honestly, even the hunting has been doing better than the oranges. Considering how many fruit trees were around, I am shocked at how bad these have been. There should be plenty of food around here, but they're just not gathering very quickly. Anyway, I got another card here. I haven't actually gotten any so far. Let's go ahead and toss the companies act in there. Might as well. Once we start getting trading companies, this is going to make my life a lot easier. I also want to point out I got a couple of bonuses. This just sort of happened when I unpaused the game before I hit record. So I picked up Agriculturalist, which gives even more productivity around a granary's radius. So that's going to work well for me. And Alcohol Appreciation, because we do produce some sake, and this applies. So another 15% productivity for the primary luxury we are producing. Oof, we are eating all of our food stores before winter even ends, though. Yeah, we need more food consistently. I could place down a few more of these pig pens, and once we have the granary up and running, it's a little bit easier to plan properly because you can use granaries to boost these up as well. And I will be doing things like that, but first I need to finish the agricultural revolution. And there it is. Okay, so let's think about what else we can be doing. Plum breeding. Yeah, plant down a whole bunch of fruit trees would be kind of fun. Would love to get things like a library so we can be making a lot more science. Once I have more science, we could go back to things like the upgrades and stuff. Ranching technologies would be good. Building combo is obviously very, very good. Farming tech we can do a little bit more of. I don't think I even need heating and stuff. Shrubbery would make people a little bit happier. So there's a lot of stuff we want to do. Do I want a granary? Yes, I do want a granary. So we can see where we want to place this. And if I could place it kind of in the center of this set of fields, we would obviously get the most value. I do hate to get rid of one of these farms, but it is well worth it if it gets me a lot of extra food. Now that said, we're going to have to rework this entire area at some point. For now, I'm happy with this just to keep me afloat because we can't afford to lose all of our food. And the good news is we did manage to construct it before we got to the autumn, which means we should get a nice extra harvest in a lot of these fields. Oh gosh, we're completely out of food again, though. Right, okay, well, let's think about this then. So we want to place down another one of these rice paddies, let's say over in this general direction. Somewhere that takes advantage of most of the space. Something like this is probably about as good as we can probably hope for, so let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and use the copy feature to go ahead and grab another granary, and we want to place these right next to the rice paddies, because obviously that's going to get the best value. So let's do something like this. And again, we want to get these farms as close to multiples of 64 as we feel like we can, so 196 over there seems kind of fine to me. The downside of placing all these farms up over here, though, is I'm going to need a lot more housing, and it has to be up in this general area to have workers nearby able to do anything. So we'll go ahead and place a fresh set of houses, and hopefully people move up there. This does leave me with very little wood left, though. I'll be cautious about that. No one's burning any, right? If I find out that anyone's been burning some of the wood, you guys are going to be in a lot of trouble. Let's also consider buying at least a handful of bricks, like 18 or so. Yeah, I mean, I could produce these myself eventually, but it's going to take way too long to get bricks up and running, and I'd like to go ahead and get myself at least a couple of upgrades, so let's go ahead and do that. And once these arrive, we can upgrade the immigration office to work faster, and we can upgrade the sake brewery to also work faster. Notice, by the way, that our population has automatically moved over here in order to work the much closer jobs. If anything, we actually might need more jobs in this immediate area. Still, I'm hoping this means we're about to get a massive increase in food production. And here comes harvest season. Oh, that is a lot of goodies. Hey, we only need 3 workers over here. I just realized that was a little inefficient, but that's fine. Just happens to work out with the sizing of this thing. Still, yeah, that's a lot of people on food. That is a lot of people on food. Go, 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 go. Woo! That's the combo. I just heard a big whoosh. All right, combo 3. That means that all of our farms just boosted up to 200-something boost. They got an extra 15% efficiency across the board. If this had been done just a couple weeks earlier, that would have been great, but it's fine. Let's learn about the wonders of shrubbery. And let's also think about how we want to get some stone. So the quarry is kind of my only real good option, right? Yeah, mine stone from a mountain. I feel like we kind of have to do this. This mountain should have about 23,000 stone in it. That goes a lot faster than you would think, to be honest, but it's fine. Yeah, let's just go ahead and place this here. So at least during winter, when a lot of our laborers have nothing else to do, they should definitely come over here and start working en masse in the quarry. Okay, we do want to upgrade this, so I'll need to buy some more bricks. That's fine, though. Boost up the number of workers who can be here. If we have maximum workers, we get an extra 20% productivity, and another 20% there across the board's good. And this needs to be a higher priority than things like fruit gatherers, but otherwise not the highest of priorities. Let's also make sure we get ourselves a storage yard in this area. A 4x6 should be enough. Make sure we can drop off the stone immediately and keep our uptime in the mines. And let's get a trading company. These things are really helpful for automating a lot of buying and selling. We can stop worrying about the dang trading post. And remember, if we place down a lot of these things, we can actually cut down on the trading fees. So it ends up being a more automated and a cheaper choice. We're still not producing much in the way of luxuries. That is one thing I could be doing very differently right now, is trying to focus a lot more on those. That said, I need to be able to focus on things like importing tools and stone and other stuff, because we do not have much. Let's go ahead and boost up the ranching technologies. I will definitely be buying a trading company, and let's also place down these beautiful little shrubberies. We can start boosting up the appeal in these areas, making all the nearby residents just a tiny little bit happier that they live here. Unfortunately, it also cost me literally all of my money. Wow, that was more expensive than I thought it was going to be. Whoops. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this trading post, at least for now. Let's swap this out for the trading companies, which I greatly prefer. And there we go. Okay, auto trading. Now we can start doing some exports and stuff like that. Tell you what, if we ever have any amount of leather, we're going to go ahead and export that. I want none in my inventory. We will also export any excess medicinal herbs, which as long as I hold on to, let's say, about 1,000, we can sell off in small batches. That'll generate some extra cash. What else? We could sell off things like sake if I want to have a little bit of extra money. Luxuries are usually a pretty good moneymaker overall. I'd like to hold on to, let's say, about 60 or so. Anything excess of that, go ahead and sell. As far as imports, we have to get some tools. So we'll go ahead and start buying a small number of those. We want to have at least, let's say, 30 of those. That's going to eat into my profit pretty considerably, but this is good for the moment. These trading companies do have a higher upkeep than the trading post, but considering they are more consistent and a little bit faster, I like these things better. They're just great. And if you ever are running out of capacity and need to get more trading done faster, you just place down more of these. I'm going to do that anyway because it also helps reduce some of the trade fees so I can save a little bit more cash. Now that we have auto trades and plenty of rice, I feel like this is the time where we start working on some sake boosts. So let's plan on exactly that. I want to get at least 4 of these things, believe it or not. Because we get boosts the more of these that you have at certain thresholds. It's 2, 4, and 8. Also, advanced sake breweries. So this is one of those new advanced buildings. Get this, 5% sake export price per advanced brewery in the city, but disallow any imports of sake. Honestly, that's fine. Yeah, let's do that. Congrats on your first advanced building. Build 4 of the same production buildings to unlock the advanced version. Okay, well now we know how that works at least. That's kind of cool. We will immediately go ahead and get some of the sake town up and running because this is going to be a 20% swing in efficiency for everybody for fairly cheap. And if I can get a bit more wood, I would like to reduce the input required in order to make this, but we'll start with what I've got. This is fine. So if I'm making tons of rice, and I am, we should now be making tons of sake. Which means I either am about to have plenty of luxuries to go around, which means we'll never lose our level 2 status, which was never in doubt anyway. More importantly, we're about to have a lot of exports. So we should be able to sell off tons and tons and tons of sake. I've also just unlocked the Master Brewer card, which gets me another 30% efficiency. So between all the bonuses we've got here, I'm really stacking up on this sake. 4 rice becomes 17 sake. This is a massive value improvement. We're talking like 40 gold worth of rice becomes, in theory, minus, the fees and stuff, somewhere around 340 worth of sake. Yeah, and that's what ultimately Kingdoms Reborn is about. Like, everyone thinks, oh, look at it, it's like it's banished. No, it's not banished. This isn't banished, this isn't settlement survival at all. Instead, this is a game about trying to become filthy stinking rich. This is capitalism. This is the specialization of labor forces, right? Focus on getting extremely good at 1 or 2 things, and you'll make so much money, you don't need to be self-sufficient in every category. You can just trade for it. Now, I say all of that, it doesn't always work out that way, especially when you have extremely high consumption rates amongst your populace. But in theory, that's how this game works. Our happiness is looking pretty okay. The happiness from housing itself is over 100% and rising. Remember, the happier your people are, the faster they work, and obviously the better your motivation books are going to be. Because the productivity books are generally better at the beginning of the game. Where do I have one of those? There's one. This is a 20% boost. Okay, that's great. Motivation gives you +1 for every happiness above 60. Right now, that's only 15%. So these aren't as good as productivity books at the beginning of the game. But in the long term, when you're expecting to hit 100% happiness all the time, these are the objectively better choice, which is the main reason that I'm preferring to pick these up. Now, we need some additional luxuries. I'm going to go ahead and learn about tulip breeding. Interesting, by the way, that it's no longer just like a seed and then you have to like plant only in a certain zone. We get the tulip breeder just like with the rice breeders, and you have to plant it in an area where it makes some sense. So let's plan on cutting down this entire area and turning these into some massive tulip farms. We don't need this many tulips to make our people happy, but more is good, because it means you can level the houses up to level 3 to get even more income and science. And worst come to worst, it's just more stuff I'll auto-trade away for income. Let's go ahead and get the iron-working tech up and running. I wouldn't mind having that 30% harvesting yield, even if I can't do much with iron yet. We do have our first level 3 houses. There we go. All right, that's boosting up our population density, more income, more science. Good, 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 good. We're looking pretty good here. Okay, and now that it's winter, we probably could spend a lot of our wood reworking all of these farms, which is expensive, I'm aware, but I already kind of warned you we were designing kind of inefficiently, intentionally inefficiently, in order to just kind of survive, but we should have the resources we need to actually make this a more efficient place now. There we go. Something like this should work just fine. Now, all of these farms, apparently except for this one, whoops, it's just slightly not in range enough. Anyway, we'll be able to get an extra 20% booster, so that's going to affect a lot more rice production. If we just make this farm a tiny bit smaller, we actually can get a 20% boost here. which is almost worth actually doing that, considering how much space we had to give up. But like, whatever, that's fine. Don't worry about it too much. Don't overthink it. He says while playing a game that seems to actively require a lot of overthinking. The irony is not lost on me, believe me. All right, so we're getting into mid-spring. We're losing a little bit of planting and harvesting time, but it is fine. Not a big deal. The tulips are very pretty. I'll give them that. I'm curious, actually, what our overall harvest looks like. Once we finish getting all this into our inventory, let's review the statistics. So, we produce somewhere around 1,800 tulips. We only consume a couple hundred, so that is a lot going to make me money, which is why I've got 30,000 gold now, by the way. Oh, this is only going to get better and better as time goes on. We are apparently producing enough medicinal herbs. Not by a lot, but we are, so that's a thing. Pork, still a thing. Oranges, blah, blah, blah. Tools, not producing enough. We're having to buy the excess. That's fine. What else we got here? Rice. Looks like we are actually consuming just about everything I make, which surprises me given how much of a surplus I'm currently sitting on, but okay. Well, remember we did have a little bit of lost growth time, so maybe it gets a little bit better next year. Maybe. We've also reached 150 population. Beautimous. Okay, now we need to get up to 200. In order to get to the Enlightenment Age, what do we need? Level 4 houses, 30 of those. So I need to start producing some extra luxuries in some way or another. Tailoring clothes and stuff probably won't do that. I'm not too worried about it. Bricks and stuff we could. Blah, blah, blah. Plums, that's just going to make me more sake. We can make the furniture and the pottery. That is an option. And between both of those, we would be able to eventually get up to the Enlightenment Age by itself. So we may have to do that. That said, I also really want to get to this blacksmith and start making better quality tools, even though I'm probably going to have to import a lot of stuff to make it work. I think it's still going to be worthwhile. So let's try thinking through another industrial area where I will be able to start producing things like iron and such. Maybe over here, I'm going to want to get some charcoal burners for sure, and we can start producing a lot of our own stuff. I also need to get a lot of forestry up and running. We're going to need tons and tons of trees. We honestly could commit to just getting rid of these fruit trees and stuff here. Like, this has not been doing a thing for me. I really feel like they nerfed these into the ground. I understand that having only one, like, viable method of gathering food at high difficulties was not so great. I get that. But wow, they are not producing much per person. So forget those. Let's get rid of that and let's kind of reorganize this entire sector right here. And what is this thing? This looks new. A bonsai nursery. Apparently it is a luxury. Little bonsai trees. Huh. That's kind of fun, actually. I have a little fake bonsai tree in my office. It's certainly very nice to have a little bit of extra greenery that's small and maintainable, and bonsai trees are pretty cool. But still, I wasn't expecting it to be a luxury. Huh, all right. Anyway, where was I? Oh, right, charcoal burners and stuff. Right, okay, let's go ahead and place down at least 2 of those for now. We'll probably need a lot more than that, but we'll start there. Let's also pick up some sort of an iron smelter. If I could produce my own iron, would that be preferable? Absolutely. Can we do that? No, so we're not going to worry about it. Let's just go ahead and place down one of those. Plus, a blacksmith, probably 2 or 3 to be honest. Yeah, let's actually plan on doing something like that. Let's also pick up a trading company. I don't know for sure if I need these. I need to do some more research on this because I can't remember. I feel like it used to be that a trading company, first off, they didn't all work in concert with each other. You had to do each one individually. But I thought that you imported a resource, it dropped off here, which made a lot of sense then to take a trading company full of, let's say, I'm importing nothing but coal. Drop it off where I'm going to need the coal. I no longer am sure that that's the case, to be honest. I don't really know where the resources appear. Maybe it's your HQ, or maybe it's somewhere else. Speaking of HQs, let's go ahead and upgrade to Town Hall Level 3, just for fun. This whole effort right here, by the way, is going to take a lot of manpower. Good news is I have, apparently, wow, 30 laborers to spare? 30 laborers to spare on immortal difficulty? God, I am never going to forget this double fertility trick. If you can do this, man. This is probably my new go-to strategy if I wanted to go for a high difficulty thing. Anyway, all right, so we can't do anything else there, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we can just go ahead and knock out the cabbage seeds just so it's off my list. I'm tired of seeing it there. So we're just about done with doing all the upgrades I'm allowed to until we get to the Enlightenment Age. I'm not even worried about going for any military units. We have less enemies on this map. And I'm not really caring if I conquer folks. That doesn't matter too much. Samurai are fun, though. Samurai cavalry, too. Ooh, fun. Anyway, yeah, we don't care about that, so I'm going to ignore that for the most part. Let's go ahead and learn about the bonsai nurseries. I'm just curious. I don't know how those work, but I want to know. All right, auto imports. If we need more iron ore, that's what I want. Iron ore, and we will try to import, let's say, about 200 or so of this, which is going to cost me a fair bit of money, but let's start with this and see how it goes. And as long as we can start producing some charcoal, which we can do now, I'm going to go ahead and boost these things up. Let's get less input, more productivity. We'll go for the charcoal burner guild so we can get more productivity there. Need a lot of bricks to upgrade the smelters and stuff like that, but that's fine. So if we produce our own charcoal and we import iron ore, we can start creating the iron bars. If we can get the iron bars, we can start creating the iron tools. If I can get the iron tools, I can get rid of these gosh dang stone tools with something that actually sticks around and is worth its dang salt. So 4 wood becomes 39 coal. See, one of the reasons I liked the idea of charcoals in my last playthrough is mathematically this just made a lot of sense, right? And as long as you're not burning the resource, it actually is still good. You know, 4 times 6.7, that's going to be, what, 26-ish gold or so worth of wood becomes, it looks like, in this case, 39 times 7.4, that's around, what, 288? So if I can turn like 20, this is like almost a 10 to 1 value, you know? This is a huge increase in cash. And then the reason it didn't work in my last series playing as the Norseman is I was just burning through all of it. Okay, and now we are producing tools. Now, it's not a great value yet. So 7 iron bars and 7 wood. That's going to become 7 iron tools. Technically, we are making more money, so the labor we put in is worth it, but eek. And if you want to be getting any of this, I need a lot of paper. Right. Yeah, upgrades for the blacksmiths are a little hard to come by, and this is very labor-intensive. Still, my hope is I can now start dismantling or pulling back on the stone here. So let's not get rid of it entirely, but let's just watch this and see how it goes. If we can get rid of that, that'd be great. Whoa, whoa, I just noticed these horses are going vroom, vroom, across my base. Right, it's the market. Hi, market! Alright, so the market is going to automatically try to distribute needs to all the people's houses so they don't have to spend time out of their day to go and do things. This is all delivery services, which basically means everything should have just gotten a lot more efficient. Perfect. Also, speaking of efficiency, we are now researching the warehouse. With the warehouse, I'll be able to get much better storage, so I can get rid of these crappy little storage yards and have everything set up this way. The foresters are definitely getting around and doing their thing. Oh, we could actually spend some coal to boost this up a lot. Yeah, let's do that. 50% more productivity. We could go for the forest town. I hate to spend my iron tools on this, but I am a little bit concerned about whether we're going to be able to have enough lumber in the long term. We'll see. Let's also unlock quick build. Y'all know that if you have lots of cash, I'm a huge fan of quick build. Stop sitting around waiting for builders, just automatically import and instantly construct anything I want. Seriously, if you have stupid amounts of money in this game, you can do pretty much anything, which is why focusing on a specialized capitalist economy where you get tons and tons of luxury resources and get good at making 1 or 2 things with lots of stacking bonuses is objectively the way to play the game. Statistically, we're starting to become a little bit of a problem when it comes to our medicinal herbs. It looks like we've been consuming a lot of rice as the population grows, so I'm going to need to find a way to get another rice paddy up and running pretty soon. And I also want to move all these dang pig ranches. I don't really like them. What we may want to do is try setting up another rice paddy in this general area. It's not as fertile, obviously, so we're not going to get as much productivity out of it. But I could get at least something out of it, and I think that's worth something. Also, this is where I would get all of my clay, so we also need to think about that. Yeah, our food's starting to burn really fast all of a sudden. Okay, this seemed great for a bit, but now we're actually over-consuming. Food is gone! Oh, God. All right, here we go again. And we're also out of medicine. Yeah, okay. We've reached a point where my population is Look at this. Yeah, my population grew too fast. Okay. That's fine. Let people starve. Let us reset for a minute. This is a little bit dangerous because it's going to be a huge hit to our happiness. This could be what we call the death spiral, but it's not over. Hold on. We're okay. Hold on. Woo, my gosh, they're dropping like flies. This is where I wish I had the cannibalism card. Wow. Okay, oh my god. Oh my god, it just is destroying me. Jeez, dude! I might be about to hit a literal death spiral. I have not hit one of these in a very long time, but look at this. Look at the population go down. Whoa. Yeah, you hit critical mass, and it's all over all of a sudden, and say goodbye. All done. Haha. Right. Well, I'm literally harvesting food right now, so we should be about to stabilize? Yeah, that's upsetting, but hold on. We're actually okay. Not great, but we're okay as long as people continue to prioritize the jobs that produce food and nothing else, which is exactly what they're doing right now. We're okay. This also solves my herbs problem. We're about to have a huge excess of harvestable goods. So food is back. Huh. Yeah, okay. Turns out we just needed to do a quick little purge and a reset. I should have jumped on this a lot sooner, but this is a classic example of how in any of these survival city builders, if you are not thinking for the future and watching your consumption rate for where things are about to go wrong, stuff like this can happen. We can absolutely recover from this. This is not the end of the world. It just slows me down, and it looks really bad. Let's go ahead and turn back on our immigration office. We have a lot of leftover residential space, just FYI. Honestly, it might not be a bad time to just go ahead and learn how the whole sushi bar thing works. I mean, like, sure, why not? Let's just go ahead and place down, like, a sushi bar, maybe even 2, I don't know. And we'll get these things built. I'll even spend 6,000 gold each. Just go ahead and get these instantly built, right? So now we got ourselves some sushi bars. I'm just curious how this works. Use local fish or deep sea fish? Ah, okay. So 11 fish and 11 rice become 34 sushi. This is actually great because it takes my food and it's a way of getting more food out than I put in. So this is a way of stretching things out a fair bit. The downside is I have to import a lot of fish because fishing is a very inefficient form of gathering food in this game. But it's not bad. And if I'm willing to spend some of my upgrade points, which I honestly forgot they even had this system in the game, we can boost these up even more to get more value. So now we just have to sit back for a bit and kind of let ourselves rebalance and readjust. We're fine. It's not a big deal. I just need my population to grow. This is where the immigration office is helpful. More births, more whatevers. We'll be back in about, I don't know, what, 3 years-ish. We'll probably be back close-ish to where we were before. But hopefully learn from that mistake. Anyway, all right. I think this is a good place to end this video. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.